Partsbreakers.com, aka Jeeps Unlimited, our old site, listing a 72 to 75 frame. The one that we had on the site, I'll have to go through those frames because they seem to be selling even faster than I thought they were, so we're pretty much out of them. This is another one I have that looks very clean. We haven't washed it yet, so there's a little bit of grime on it, but I'll get it completely washed if somebody picks it up, and then we'll get another photo or video if anything comes back on it that I didn't show you in the original one. Sometimes when I wash them, I see things that I don't normally see, just because it's almost 5,000 psi. So if there's a weak spot, it will show it very quickly. This frame does look solid. I don't think there's going to be anything like that on it, but just in case. So we'll just start at the top and work our way around, and I'll flip it over and show you the bottom as well. Front looks clean, nothing modified that I can see, at least on this front, from basically the shock towers forward. Depending on the style of steering you have, I can't remember. I think this is the style you can put power steering on and change the column out pretty easily. The dash is a little bit goofy to do it, but that is an option. Some people don't like the 72 to 75 steering wheels. If you're going for original, that's definitely a way to keep. But if you're trying to get something you can squeeze into better, or a little bit better handling, then there's a different gearbox that will mount up in there. And then it does get a little complicated doing different steering column setup, but it is possible. So anyway, so that looks good there. The only thing I see on the front half of this frame at all is, I mean, if you know these frames, and you may not, if you don't, they're an open C channel, the back half of them. The front half is boxed in. In the later years, they fully box these frames in for strength, and you can tell just when you pick these things up, they're a little bit more wiggly than a fully boxed frame is. So when I say boxed, I mean they kind of put a, some people would call it fish plate inside this area here to strengthen them. And a lot of people do that even after the fact on the back half of them, and they do them the rest of the way. But again, if you're going for original, or you're not doing any serious wheeling where you're going to be twisting this frame, then it's probably not that big a deal. So some of the grime I was talking about that will come off is up through here, and it just looks like grease. So I don't think there's anything behind that or anything, but if there is, obviously we'll get that situated. The motor mounts, they mount to those holes there, and then going back, there is I don't know if they had something mounted at one time, but right there they got some goopy weld somebody did there. So who knows, they might have had a bracket or something welded, especially on the inside. I don't know why they would have just done that lower lip. And then on this, I believe it's the outside on the passenger side, they've reinforced it here with plate steel. Again, this is kind of common. This is an area they like to crack. This doesn't look like it's ever been cracked, so my guess is that somebody, or they read online, this is the area to do. That's right around the area that they go from the C-channel frame to a box-in frame. So, and they did it on both sides. The other side is a bigger one. This one's a littler one, and it's just basically right above the hanger there. So, and then they L'd this one down below that guy there. So definitely, again, if you're going for original, it might be something you want to grind off, or you might even want to do it a little bit cleaner, because that's not the cleanest way I've seen it done before. But nonetheless, it's not too bad. And for being a rust-free frame, and I do mean rust-free, any of the discoloration you see on it is oxidized metal. There's nothing at this point that's rotted through. And again, it may show up in a wash, but I doubt it. Like I said, this looks like a pretty solid frame. So a lot of grime and grease and crap on the inside. So we'll get all that off. We don't prep the frames any other way other than cleaning them. We really want the buyers to know what the frame is versus throwing a coat of paint on it and trying to hide something. So we deal with, I would say 90% of everything we have in this yard is rust-free. Comes in with 4 wheels and no wrecks. We do We do occasionally buy a wrecked one, but not a lot. CJs, almost all my CJs come in, if not rolling, running and driving. I mean, they're usually 4 squared up and everything else. So, and then going back to the back, these back supports are always getting banged up. This is a replaceable piece. Sometimes I say just straighten them. In this case, I'd probably replace that one. It's not terrible and it's solid. There's no rust in it, but it's got a good grease in it on that end there. But an original one's hard to find, so it might be worth just pulling out and getting it straight. Those left wings, right wings, that one's a little beat up too on the right side. So, and then it's got the factory hitch that was on this one and whatnot. So give me just a second and I'll flip this guy over and we will go from there. You're gonna see the sky here in a second. Just give me 1 minute here. Not super heavy, although the older I get, the heavier they feel. So bottom side, okay, and that's where I was talking about with that gearbox. That's a pretty standard mount, and you can go to the power box without a lot of changes on those. And then going back up, and you can kind of see they did. So this is kind of a cornered in section they did here, and actually, now that I'm looking at it here, this is probably, it doesn't look cracked, so no, I bet looks like they just reinforced that side. This side might have started to crack. It's hard to say. They definitely didn't do a very good job with those welds on there, but wouldn't be much to take a grinder and make that look better. I don't know if it needed to be redone completely, but it kind of depends on what you're doing with it. So everything else on this frame is really, really nice though. Hangers are in good shape. Even these things. So this is another area I love to show people, especially guys on the East Coast. These like to, these are where the bushings squeeze on them, the rubber bushings, your body bushings to your, weight to your body, of course, frame to body. And so they trap moisture, and this is a really solid area. I like to look first thing when we pop a frame to see if these are all wallowed out or eaten out, and there's absolutely no metal taken out of this. So that just goes to show you how clean this frame is. You can tell that this frame's never seen salt. There wouldn't be much left of it if there was. So, and then back supports, the cables have been cut, so you'll want to replace those. We usually don't include those. I usually don't let my guys cut them, but clearly they got a hold of these. So, and then the back half. And again, that rear frame support's solid. There's no rust on it, but there's definitely a good bend on that side there, and a little one over here. Center's solid. I probably would fix that one just because the aftermarket ones aren't quite as heavy duty as the original ones are. So, and then it's got your back supports for your hitch, at least on this side, and that side looks like it's been pulled. So, yeah. So I think that does it. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, let us know. The gearbox will be pulled. That's something we don't include with the frame. If it's something you need, just let me know. We work something out. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. And again, 72 to 75 frame. And I got my little guy Thomas over there. He's about to turn 2, and he loves this junkyard. So anyway, I appreciate everything, and look forward to talking to you.